All right, so this isn't the video that I wanted to make. I was hoping to celebrate the deal, but it didn't go through. So, long story short, and I'll make this short story long. The contract came, we were reviewing it, and we noticed there was an addendum missing because the buyer had specified that they were going to pay all my client's fees, closing costs, commission, etc. They made it clear in the email, but when the contract came in, we didn't see it in the addendum. I contacted the buyer's agent and I said, "Hey, the addendum's missing. We agreed to this fee structure, etc." Nice woman. I like working with her. She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I sent it to you late last night. I'm going to send it now to my client for their signature." I said, "Oh, great. How long is that going to take?" Because I'm in my client's, kitchen going over the paperwork. And she says, "Oh, give me about 20, 25 minutes. I just spoke to my client recently. I'll send them the documents." Great. So she looks over the email, confirms the terms with me that their buyer would be covering my client's closing costs, including my fee. And she said, "Great. I'll get this over to them and get this back to you in 30 minutes. So I said, "Great, I'll take lunch." I left them. I went to get something to eat, walk the dogs at the local dog park here in Brendan, Florida, and called the agent about after like 30, 40 minutes. I'm like, "Hey, I haven't seen it in my email. Is everything okay?" She said, "No, I'm still waiting for the signatures. Just give me a couple more minutes." And I drive to my client's home. Then, as soon as I get to the driveway, she's like, "Christian, you're going to be mad at me." I'm like, "What's going on?" She said they had to change their mind and they don't want to pay those fees. They want to pay the other things that they said, title, etc., but they're not interested in paying your buyer's closing costs, your sellers. My client, the buyer is no longer interested in paying the seller's closing costs. And I said, "Well, what changed? Because this is what we agreed to the day before yesterday. This is what you sent to me yesterday. It was just missing the addendum." So "Yeah, I think they just thought it through, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sorry." And then the agent and I are discussing, strategies. Maybe we can each take a hit on our fee to make the numbers work. But long story short, the buyer would have been more comfortable had our quadplex had at least some active income. It's vacant. That's a choice on my sellers to keep it vacant while they're doing some other things. They didn't actively try to get any tenants. So yeah, they said, "No, this is a great offer," and it was a really high offer. It was just, I thought it was reasonable. It wasn't as much as I wanted, but I thought it was reasonable. And unfortunately, they backed out. They reneged on their offer terms and decided not to sign the addendum and say, "But this offer that we're giving you is still there." I'm like, "Yeah, this offer is insufficient. That's why we wanted the addendum that we agreed to." And they say, "No, unfortunately." And I've heard it said before that time kills all deals. My clients have a tendency of slow walking things. The contract came in 2 days ago. They had family over. There was a bunch of activity, a bunch of guests. They didn't want to go over the contract then. So I was like, "All right, fine." They said, "Let's come tomorrow." They said, "No, not tomorrow. Let's come Monday. We have time." They think we had time. And I would have noticed this then. But I decided, let me look at the contract. I looked at the terms. I didn't check for an addendum, so that's on my fault. I could have called the agent and said, "Hey, I don't see the addendum." Maybe they would have gone back to their client. Maybe their clients would have been in the same frame of mind and get it done. But having, 2-3 days to think about it, they decided no. So, yeah, this happens. It's unfortunate that it happens, but I do have another buyer interested coming tomorrow. They've already agreed. So I have that for Tuesday to look forward to. And we've had 13 people walk through the property so far, and only 3 have made an offer. So statistically, I'm looking like at one out of 4 showings has led to an offer. So I hope I don't have to go through 3 more people after this one tomorrow. But I'm still confident that it's gonna sell. I'm confident we're gonna get a price better or terms better. But I've also already secured a price reduction. So given the fact that none of the offers that we've received are anywhere near where we've listed, I told my clients, like, "Look, I get that you want to say no to this offer. doesn't make sense for you now given the $25,000 gap since they're not covering the fees. But none of the offers have come near your list price. I think we should lower the price closer to what I believe will get it more attention. And I'll wait till after this person visits the property because I don't want to shoot myself or us in the foot in case I want to make an offer that's higher. So they've agreed. We're going to lower it substantially on Thursday if we don't get any interest before then. And I'll just continue doing what I'm doing and getting, hopefully enough attention to get some buyers. So this is Christian Nabush, licensed realtor with Real Broker. A little sad, but this is what you have to deal with when you work with people, and B, you work for yourself. So there are no guarantees, and there's a lot of headaches. But at the end of the day, you get paid so handsomely for the work that you do that when you do succeed at any individual transaction, you kind of forget it. Someone described it to me kind of like having children. In fact, it was the buyer's agent. She said, clients could be headaches, but like having babies, all you do once you get the reward is you just feel the high of the results. So I hope when we get to the closing table eventually, I won't look back at it and think about this was like a horrible transaction, or these are difficult clients, or these are difficult circumstances. This just is what it is. And it wasn't bad. It was just really, really, really annoying. But it happens. Talk to you guys later.